Justice Sotomayor's latest dissent is in a Supreme Court decision that allows Donald Trump's masked bands of federal agents from a variety of federal agencies to grab people off the street because they look like, according to the agents, they might be undocumented immigrants. There was a time in this country when the overwhelming majority of recent immigrants looked like me, having made it across the ocean, fleeing famine and desperate poverty in Ireland. There are still recent immigrants in this country from Ireland, some of them undocumented, working in various places around the country, but ICE agents are not pulling them out of their cars and throwing them to the ground and handcuffing them and dragging them away. But they are doing that to people in Los Angeles and other parts of this country who are native-born American citizens, some of whom have Spanish names. In a city that has a Spanish name, Los Angeles, a city that is in a place that used to be Mexico. And after those American citizens who've been snatched by those masked agents are finally able to prove that they are native-born citizens, Donald Trump's masked agents will let them go. And that has been unconstitutional since the Bill of Rights was passed by Congress as the first 10 amendments to the Constitution in 1791. Justice Sotomayor's dissent to that Supreme Court decision, supported by all 6 Republican members of the court, says, the Fourth Amendment protects every individual's constitutional right to be, quote, free from arbitrary interference by law officers, end quote. After today, that may no longer be true for those who happen to look a certain way, speak a certain way, and appear to work a certain type of legitimate job that pays very little. Instead of allowing the district court to consider these troubling allegations in the normal course, a majority of this court decides to take the once extraordinary step of staying the district court's order. That decision is yet another grave misuse of our emergency docket. We should not have to live in a country where the government can seize anyone who looks Latino, speaks Spanish, and appears to work a low-wage job. Rather than stand idly by while our constitutional freedoms are lost, I dissent. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is back with us. Senator, your reaction to Justice Sotomayor's dissent?
Well, this is one of a series of decisions on, they called it the emergency docket in the case, but it's commonly referred to as the shadow docket. And these are some very weird decisions that are done before there's proper briefing and argument that are often done anonymously by the court. And they're provoking these very hot, pointed dissents from Sotomayor, Jackson, and Kagan. One of the conventions at the Supreme Court is that you say, I respectfully dissent. Sotomayor left out the respectfully in that sentence. That is a signal to her colleagues. But for all of us, what you're looking at is something that kind of turns Marbury versus Madison, that seminal Supreme Court decision, on its head. Marbury v. Madison says that it's the job of the Supreme Court to say what the law is. In these shadow docket decisions, the court does not say what the law is. It just picks a winner without describing what it's saying. That does a real disservice to the courts below that have to try to figure out how to deduce what it meant. And courts are getting pretty visibly frustrated with this, you know, making references to Calvin Ball and stuff like that, with the Supreme Court just making up the rules as it goes. The legitimate reason to do this stuff is to get in there and minimize pre-decision harm. And these shadow docket decisions go the other way. They make as much pre-decision harm as possible. Many of them are firings, and they let the firing go forward. So on one side, you've got somebody who has to clear out their office, lose their job, maybe never get bought back again, have to look for pay in the meantime. On the other hand, you have the right of the president to fire that person, which before the decision is overturned is actually not a legal right. So it has no measurable value at all. And yet they go with that with an obvious awareness that they are going to overrule the decision, but they won't say so. So everything about it is irritating to lower court judges, irritating to the three, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson, who are the dissenters in all of this. It's a really frustrating moment because it's the court abusing a power that really it shouldn't even have, really, except in rare circumstances. And it's just sloshed out into all of these things, and huge things are now happening and affect the, right? About, again, search and seizure has been at least preliminarily stood on its head in Los Angeles if you're Latino.
And it is a vivid and painful reminder of the importance of presidential elections and voter participation. Senator Sheldon
And
Whitehouse.
also about understanding what went on behind this, that there was, in fact, a dark money capture of this court, and it is being told what to do by those same special interests through a flotilla of phony front groups.
And we have you to thank for that understanding. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, thank you very much for joining us tonight.